Hi, it's Megan from Brunswick Martial Arts and Fitness, and today I'm going to show you some poses for yoga for swimmers. So a common thing with swimmers, they have a lot of shoulder issues because of the strokes. They often have to have hypermobility here, but then they lack the strength in the scapular region. So I'm going to show you some poses to stabilize the scapula, just to try to circumvent some of those injuries. So the first pose is a modified tabletop position. So in tabletop, hands are really important. You want to have a nice wide stance with the hands. Outer creases of the wrists line up with the outer edges of your shoulders. Wrists are parallel to the short edge of your mat. Fingertips are spread. Pointer fingers point straight forward. That puts your shoulders in a better position. And you press into the mat with your fingertips, your knuckles, just to keep the weight off of your wrist. Your knees should be right under your hips or slightly in back of your hips if you have knee problems. That'll put your spine in a nice flat position, toes tucked under. And you drag your hands toward each other. By doing this action without actually moving your hands, it just engages and tones up the muscle of your arms. Draw your shoulder blades close, and your gaze should be slightly forward just to keep a natural curve in your neck. So the first thing you're going to do is work on some scapular stability. So you want to put your weight in your left hand first, and then inhale your right arm in front. You want to keep the shoulder blades engaged, so keep those scapula moving toward each other. Gaze is slightly forward. Hold for 3 breaths. And then release the right hand. Draw the shoulder blades together once again. Check in with your foundation. And then lift the left hand in front. Keep the shoulder blades close. Look forward. Hold for 3 breaths. And then from here, you can play with lifting one arm, lifting the opposite leg, foot is flexed. Here you're working on making sure your pelvis isn't rotating any which way. You want to keep the pelvis parallel with your mat. Gaze forward. Scapulas are engaged. Lower one hand, you can lower your knee, and then switch sides. So that's one pose to work on scapular stability. Another thing you could do, I'll turn around for this, so you can see from both angles, is just engaging the shoulders. You don't even need a wall or weights or anything to do this. You just bring your arms in front. Notice where your fingers are. When your fingers turn toward each other, that puts your shoulders in an internally rotated position. You want to rotate your pointed fingers up toward the ceiling. Draw your shoulder blades back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And then bend your elbows. Squeeze those shoulder blades. You'll feel the muscle of your shoulders engage. And then try to lift your arms, keeping that engagement in your shoulder blades. So I'll turn around for this part. So I want to keep my shoulders close like this as I straighten my arms. So as I'm straightening, I'm turning my pinky fingers in toward each other. As I slowly straighten, shoulder blades are still engaged. If this is hard for me to straighten here, I just take my arms a little bit wider. So one final thing is you'll notice a lot of times swimmers are walking around because of how the strokes are swum, like breaststroke or butterfly, with really hunched over shoulders. So this is more of a passive pose where you could just lay on some blocks and open up your shoulders. So it should feel good, relaxing. So you'll need some props for this. You'll need 2 blocks. You get blocks at Five Below or Target. And you're going to place the first block on the middle setting, right in between your shoulder blades. So right here, you don't want it on your low back, so up here. So you're going to lay back, put it in between your shoulder blades. The second block goes under your head just as a support, and you could just lay here, arms open. You could lay there for a couple minutes. It just is a nice way to open up the shoulders without doing too much work. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll have another post coming up soon. Thank you.